But yeah, massive thanks to Warner Brothers for the
Mm,
invite. It was a pretty awesome night. Screens, big cameras, popcorn, drinks flowing. I
mm.
don't know what the themed drink of the night was. Music going off. But yeah, we got to check out the movie at the premiere. Um, I think yeah, just for me, an overview. I liked the movie
Mm.
itself, but I think it's poor man's Back to the Future.
Mm. So I liked the movie as well. I probably need to watch it again, to be honest. Felt a bit long. It felt like it dragged there in a little places. It could have been like, just cut down just a little bit. I don't know.
Yep.
Just to make the pacing just a bit better. It felt like it stopped and started in
Mm.
places. Um, but yeah. Um, It's normal for me. It was just normal superhero fare. This is not the greatest superhero movie ever made.
No, it's not.
No,
Nope.
no. It's
Um,
still Batman '89 for me.
I still like my Superman, but
Mm,
so basically the synopsis for the movie, right? Flash is trying to help his father get out of prison. That's been a storyline that's kind of been lingering since Justice League.
oh yeah.
Um, the evidence doesn't kind of play out, and he goes back in time because he wants to change the past so that he can have both his father and his mother in the present. Because his mother gets murdered while his father's out getting tomatoes.
Mm,
But gets stuck in the past, a
yep.
la Back to the Future. And he's like, he's trying to work things out. So he needs to sort of put together a Justice League of some sorts, but
Mm,
also work with his past self
yep.
or this new timeline self. Uh, yeah, it just that pacing for me, it drops out when he loses his powers.
Yeah.
So when
Love that.
OG Barry is not the Flash, it completely just it stops
It
because
just
he turns into the tutor.
yeah, yeah. It just felt weird. Like it just switched. The energy just switched. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's on purpose
Hmm.
or maybe I don't know. Machete just decided, no, this is where we're going to slow it down. But yeah, maybe there was stuff that they had to cut. To be honest,
Maybe. It's funny that they wouldn't cut more of that sort of stuff, but I guess that at that point you're almost like Barry is relishing in the thought of his mom still being alive in this universe,
yeah, yeah,
and he he needs to do something. There's the reminders and whatnot, but it doesn't switch up the tone.
no,
So the movie's very very comedically leaning,
mm,
and like while a lot of it was like cool and was fun and stuff like that, there's some parts where it needed to stop and breathe and take a dramatic just pause,
yeah,
a big dramatic pause, so that we felt it more.
mm,
It happens in Back to the Future. Same setup happens. Marty goes back, gets stuck, and then he's got to try to work things out so he can get back to the future.
yeah,
And he works with his parents and everything to kind of make sure that that kind of goes down.
mm,
Through that movie, like, yes, it starts with comedy. You're scared shitless by the time the fucking those guys rock up at the mall, at
yeah,
the Two Pines Mall, and fucking gun Doc Brown down.
yeah,
You know what I mean? There's fear there. Goes into high adventure. Then there's the figuring out, like, fish out of water sort of story.
mm.
And then bang, he kind of gets his groove back, and things kind of link up again.
But the thing for me is that Back to the Future, there's only certain people who are playing comedic roles within the movie, right?
Yeah,
So it's Doc Brown and his father.
Hmm.
And he's the straight man throughout the story. Sort of, the things are just happening to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas this, like, everyone had to be funny.
Yeah.
Like, why would Batman ever cook someone a meal?
Yeah, it was a bit weird.
I didn't understand, like, why. Why was he even doing that?
I think they had to put it in there, right? Because his mom cooks spaghetti. So then Batman cooks spaghetti because
Hmm.
that's also like a surrogate father to him
Ugh.
and his relationship with Bruce. I did
Ju-
like Michael Keaton in the role.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
Michael
He's the man.
Keaton fucking killed it.
He's the
He was
man.
so good.
He never
He
lost
still
it.
has it. No, he
Yeah.
didn't. He did not.
Still purses his lips that same way, like he's kissing.
Yeah, it still has that confidence.
Hmm.
And I know that wasn't him in the suit doing the moves and stuff like that,
Yeah,
but
but it
fuck,
was
it looked good.
like the fighting, his fighting, they really took it up a notch.
They did. They did. Even with the sort of squarish movements,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the straight line movements of the suit,
Yeah.
still good.
It was like straight
Still
karate.
real. Yeah.
That's what it was. Because when you look at straight karate, it is like that,
Yeah.
constantly sort of moving forward.
I didn't like the CG in this movie. For all the time that they had to kind of refine it and whatnot, if that was them that's refined it, and this is what they wanted it to look like, it didn't grab me. It
Is it
looked like,
supposed to look like that?
I don't know.
Like
That's the
Madame
thing.
Tussauds? That's what I thought.
Yeah. Yeah. It looked a little weird because
Yeah,
it almost looked like they got like green screen and they just cut out the eyes and the mouth and then they just CG'd the
yeah,
rest. Because their faces were floating.
yeah.
And there's a lot of times where it just looked disgusting. I don't know if the Speed Force bit was supposed to look like that, but
It just,
it, it, it reminded me of, Man of Steel had, they're showing the history of Krypton,
yeah,
and it kind of gave me those sort of vibes, but that's supposed to be like that because that's the animation that they kind of chose.
yeah.
I don't
That's
know
the
if
old
that's,
Fleischer animation that they were the homage.
yeah,
This, no,
this is a bit
this
weird.
was funny. I've got games that look better than this.
Yeah, I mean, it almost looked like episode 2, um, Attack of the Clones, that O with the long face,
Yes,
that's what it looked like. The really contoured lines of the face, it almost looked otherworldly. And I don't know if it's supposed to look like that, but it took me out.
it did take me out. Because every time I was like, is it supposed to look like I'm thinking? Like, why am I thinking? Does it supposed to look like this? Like,
Yeah.
why does it look like this?
Yeah. And also, with Ezra Miller being basically like two characters in every scene,
Hmm.
the CG was applied there as well.
Yeah, it was.
That looked weird. Now, I don't know if that's a result of the reshoots that happened
Hmm.
and the re-editing that happened to kind of repiece it together.
Hmm.
But it felt weird and it felt unfinished, which is weird for a movie that's been finished for so long.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Andy Muschietti does a solid job.
Yeah, he does. Which is why
The
it's so weird that this would happen.
Yeah, because the camera movements and everything are so animated.
Hmm.
It keeps everything kind of moving there. But when you see the babies at the start of the movie, that looked weird.
Mate,
It looked bad. It looked cheap.
there is. When was the last time I've seen a baby? I think there's TV shows where they show babies that are CG that look realer than that.
Yeah,
Like, it's just.
probably.
Like, I don't get it. Like, if your CG wasn't completed, don't put your movie out, man. Push it.
Yeah, which makes me think that at the start was a new sequence
Yeah.
or a new Earth sequence. Was it in like Batman's like cowl, Ben Affleck's cowl? In this,
Yeah.
why do they build? Yeah, like he's skinny.
Yeah.
Why would they purse his face together? But also his brow. His brow bulges out and it's grimaced like that
Constantly?
constantly. But his because he's like this,
Yeah.
it looks like the Tobey Maguire, like crying and then smiling.
It looks like that guy that old guy that they always post.
Yeah. Can I eat now?
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like I'm shitting on it a lot. The story that sort of drags you through, it doesn't drag you through, but it pulls you through, works really, really well.
It does.
Everything sort of links up. It's beautiful. It's nice.
Yeah.
It's the execution that kind of gets me.
Yeah. That's
And
the only thing. The story was great. Like I really, really like the story. They did lean heavily on Flashpoint, but just
hmm,
just they changed it just enough to make it different, which was nice.
yeah, and make
Yeah.
it solely about Flash,
Yeah.
which was cool.
Mm.
I liked Sasha Cali
Mm.
and her Supergirl wasn't like Henry Cavill's at all. Very angry,
Mm.
very sort of like it was like a dark Superman.
Yeah.
And if you were locked up for like 30 years, you'd be a bad bitch too.
The angry god.
Yeah.
Mm.
Which could have gone either way, and she knows that. But because of her cousin, because of like seeing Zod again,
Mm.
she steps up, much the way that Kal-El does.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. But you don't get to see her that much, right? She's more third act sort of. Yeah, we're tagging you in there, but you weren't a big part of the overall sort of
Yeah.
character arcs.
She was the MacGuffin to get another metahuman into the movie,
Yeah.
essentially, not
Yeah.
just Flash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot what happens to any of the sort of side characters by the end of the movie. They add so many things last minute that sort of just feel
I
like
know that his father gets out of jail.
yeah, he changes that, but then what happens to Keaton's Batman? What happens to Supergirl?
That's the what's his face. So we just spoiling it straight up, or what's going on?
Spoiler.
So that's the whole thing. He says, in this world, we die. We have to die because we can't save everyone. So we can't save Supergirl. We can't save Batman. They need to die. So Zod essentially wins in that Earth. But they can go back to their time and put things back so that what's his face, everything that he knows will come true, which then he has to essentially kill his mother when you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Because
It wasn't executed there at the end.
No, it's what she says to him. Yeah. You got to slow down. You can't. Sometimes you can't solve everything. Sometimes you just need to take a step back and watch. Yeah.
I did like that moment though when Barry says that to the other Barry.
Yeah. I got like Guardians vibes.
That's what I was going to say about the overall tone of the movie. Guardians did it right. Right? That Guardians trilogy is solid. Like, yes, there's comedic moments, but there's also a lot of heart. And then Thor Ragnarok hits, and like it's Taika's humor, and that's what this movie I think leaned heavily on was Taika's sort of his temperament, his approach to shit.
Yeah.
And then Love and Thunder hit, and I feel like that pushed it way too far. And I feel like that's where this movie fits, is in between Ragnarok and Love and Thunder, just with its tone and its approach.
Yeah.
And Love and Thunder kind of felt like it didn't do anything because everything was funny.
Mm. Yeah, didn't take itself so seriously. I think I think honestly the comedy was all Muschietti. I mean, for the last 10 years, 12 years, he's been dealing with mothers that want to kill their kids and kill the fucking clowns. So I think he wanted just a little levity in his life, maybe just once. Because he looks like he's just constantly like, dark clouded up.
True. It also felt like it was from a fan.
Yeah.
Like there was callbacks to 89 Batman. There was throwbacks to universes that were supposed to happen, but never did.
Yep.
To old homages to legendary superhero films.
Whole scene
And
that would
yeah,
take.
yeah. And like I like those sort of homages. I didn't like the amount of cameos that we got in the movie though. Like it did bring it down.
Diminishes it.
Yeah. It diminishes the impact of that third
Of the
act.
cameo. Yeah, and the third act. Oof.
And I think that's why I forgot all the shit kind of happens in that third act.
Mm.
Maybe I'll like it more on home video.
I think so. I think I will. Like on a home video, I think I'll be able to sit down and actually, like, just enjoy it and vape and, like,
Yeah.
actually really study the film. Like I
Yeah.
kind of did with Avatar after it came out, which I really, really like now. Like,
Yeah.
I've watched Avatar maybe 5 times already, and yeah, I'm looking forward to that Blu-ray.
Brody loved it. Now this is where I kind of go like this. We weren't really the target audience. You know
Not at
how
all.
when I watched Super Mario Brothers, really aimed at kids, but they weren't really the target audience. With this movie, we're linking in a lot of what Snyder did, and that
Hmm.
was targeted at adults. But the pacing of this movie, the tone, the beats, everything is kid focused.
Yeah.
And like you can see the impact. Like Brody came out and he was like, we were at home, we were talking, and what do you give it out of 10? 11 out of 10. The thing only goes to 10. It was that good. It's an 11 out of 10. No pee breaks, no leaving the seat. The O was exhilarated the whole time.
Yeah.
Loved it.
He said to me, Uncle Dave, it was like a Justice League movie, but better. All right.
Wait, are we talking Snyder Cut here? Such a little ass. And I think
If
that's
that's
what sort of
if that's his Justice League, though, I'm not mad at that.
no.
That's his
If that's
Justice
the
League.
intro to him
Yeah.
watching Returns and the original Batman, I love it.
Yeah.
I think that's why I kind of feel a little bit sort of torn in between.
Mm.
Like normally, if it was for me, I would have just shred the movie up to pieces. But his love for it, and like seeing like this person really sort of gravitate towards it,
Mm.
there's something there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's something about Flash. Well, and I think that's the segue into Ezra Miller.
Mm.
So Ezra Miller does really, really well in the film.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's the best superhero performance you're ever going to see. Not at all. But he does well. He is that character. He's got the beats down. He's got all that. But we've all seen it before.
Mm.
Shia LaBeouf did this shit in Transformers.
Yeah, he did.
He did it. He did the sort of jittery kind of like, what do I do here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
like high energy. He's already done it. I think so. Like other people could easily just slip into the role. Cody Smith McPhee, Asa Butterfield. There's all these young cats out there. I'm not. Those aren't my
But yeah,
picks at all.
they're around that age. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
She was gonna wait for me, Alfred. Harvey could never know.
He was played the whole time, Bruce.
I know.
Bruce is always
Like a
playing.
Yeah, but Bruce is the smartest detective in the world until it's his shit, and then he just can't see it. I'm blind now as a bat. Like what? My Batman would never do that.
Batman had just never let himself get close like that. The only person that's able to just break through is Talia al Ghul.
Yeah, or
They
Catwoman.
did that in 15 minutes.
Yeah,
in Rises.
yeah.
She gave him that sex by the fireplace that was so good. This was just like, could never hurt me.
I know. Billionaire Wayne is back, baby.
And then the knife to the ribs.
Yeah. The betrayal.
Yeah. I think overall, take your kids to this one.
Yeah.
Right? It's not going to be hard to watch at all. There's not going to be anything complicated. There's nothing that's going to be like so suggestive that you got to explain to your kids afterwards that, oh, like, you know, don't
There's
ever do that.
One F-bomb in the movie.
And that's like, you know, sort of really like they cover it up.
Yeah.
Like they've got so much applause and shit like that. And I'm pretty sure the cinema will be applauding too. I won't spoil that.
Yeah.
And also the post credits, like, did nothing.
You don't have to stick around. You don't fucking pull out a fucking cosmic treadmill and shit. Like, at least pull out the treadmill.
Yeah.
No. Nothing.
Yeah. Check it out. Take the kids. Have fun. It's a good family movie.
Yeah.
I think I'll be watching this one, whether I like it or not, for a good long while.
I'll watch this movie for audio reasons. You know how I get down, though.
Yeah. That is a wrap.
Flask.